eye-poppingly awkward or difficult or expensive. Let me check. Yes, of course she's replaced the cupboard doors, which is fantastic. The finish level in here is not great, but it's perfectly acceptable. Everything you see is good. Main board. Okay, so we're a Formica backed main board, and we can see all of our power in, with the exception of the main is white clad, which means it's TPS. The main is black TPS, so that's fine. Water heater, heat, means we must have a heat pump somewhere, but I haven't seen it. Range 32 amp, and then lights and heat again, then that's presumably power. So let's just have one more quick nosy because I didn't see anything about heat anywhere. No heating unit, no heating unit. They may have had a night store heater fitted at some stage. They're fairly expensive to run, so it's no great surprise if that's been removed. Okay, so the carpet down there is pretty good, trims are looking alright. Roofing, obviously not painted in there, but that's fine. So ceiling's looking pretty good for the era. Okay, sills pretty clean and tidy. Okay. Okay, so bedroom 3. Okay, and all good. Toilet. Again, no doorstop. You've got that little ding in the wall. Thatch is holding nicely. There's no means of locking the toilet door. You might wish to fit a bolt or some such. Toilet is well fitted down. Waste is holding up nicely. So no action necessary in here. It's looking pretty good. You've got a water splice copper. And bathroom slash laundry, yes. Haha. When I'm right. So laundry. Features of this room. With slats, ventilation's not a huge issue. Washing machine sitting right there is fine. She has upgraded this. This is much newer than what would have originally been in here. We have waste to the side. In fact, they've relined the whole room. That is Aquiline, which means it looks like they have replumbed at the same time. And jib cove, jib ceilings. No signs of leaks or anything gnarly in there. So the main points to make in here, so if you wish to put a dryer up, you're somewhat limited to putting it on this side. If you want to put a dryer up, make sure it is a heat pump dryer ideally, or at worst a condensing dryer. What it's going to do is prevent moisture being released into the room, which makes the paint job last longer. So if you look closely in the right light, you can see that you get little bits of condensation on the walls. Pretty normal in a bathroom, older vintage. This room may have been insulated, I'm not 100% sure. The house has been sitting cold long enough, I won't necessarily know. Okay, bathroom down here. No signs of leaks there. No signs of swelling, that's good.
What are our wall lines?
This will be plasterboard in here, yep.
Both these rooms, toilet as well?
I believe so.
Good.
Again, hence early modern. So the difference, tempered hardboard to plasterboard. Big changeover. Okay. Let's get a bit super geek on it, shall we?
This is vinyl?
Yep.
And this vinyl is too modern for an asbestos risk, isn't it?
Yes, although there is still some old stuff in the hot water closet.
Okay.
She has been out of the house for a weeny while. Oh no, we're heating up now. Here we come. Ah, there we go. No, 50, 54, 55, 56, 58. So what this tells me is that we don't have a tempering device. She's pretty warm at that temperature coming out, but that means we don't have an awful lot of loss underneath. So if we are to take a sample here, what we discover, relative humidity 60, yeah, it's still within cooey. 2.6.3. Let's just have a nosy at our walls, if we can see. You won't see much, I don't suspect, because temperature is pretty close to standardized. What we do want to see, however, oh, that's handy. So we don't have any particularly cold patches down by the slight leak in shower. Now, most common place for a shower to leak, and the reason why they do it is because silicon doesn't last that long. Silicon lasts about 5 years. That shower's probably been in place for about 10 to 15, same time as the bathroom, which means it is due to have the silicon trimmed out down here and replaced. If you do that, then you solve the water tightness issue, and that's obviously just occasional. I think she's quite studious in keeping it in good condition. Again, the same rules down there. There's no signs of moisture elevation at present, or at least not rot anywho. So the recommendation is basically get some paint on those bits of MDF trim. They will swell, there's not much you can do about that. But you can keep them looking relatively nice. Get the silicone replaced and that solves the problem handily. Now we do have an extractor, which does work. Where does it go? Round and round and round it goes, and where it stops, it stops in the duct, which is nice. Ducts normally go outside, you don't tend to put a duct just into the ceiling. Now you can see that your cable here is wearing quite substantially on the heater. So heater's functioning on the switch. Two options, one is that you just leave it on, cut the cable off and just run it off the switch, or two is that you pull the heater apart and replace the cable, which is a bit fiddly, but it is ultimately quite doable. You have an RCD power point fitted, which is good, and that makes the interior collection of this house quite complete. The one thing I will say that I didn't say before, where we have ceramic fuses and indeed ceramic bases, especially at a height where we can reach them, we should consider replacing those. And the logic behind that is, at the moment you can pop this fuse out, and even if the fuse is blown you can still touch two live terminals and have a very bad experience. Whereas on the plastic ones, like this one here, you simply can't do that because it's isolated so that you can't touch the base. So it's probably worth your while ringing up an electrician and saying, let's go to town and just replace all of these old ceramics with new plastic ones. Will cost a little bit, but it's not a particularly expensive cost, and it does better protect the house than a fuse is able to. Fuses can take a long while to blow, and in that time damage can be done. Okay, so now if we get our here. Right, this is always good to see. Good quality insulation in copious quantities. Now, so R3.3 over top of pink bats, which would have been R1.8 originally, but will have sagged. So, not too bad. Now our roof is predicted, it's painted, and a little bit of rust there where the copper touches the iron. That's because you get a galvanic interaction which causes rust. We can't see much of the apex, but we can roughly presume it won't be too dissimilar to that. So you're getting a little bit of roof wear going on. Not an original roof, but on a relatively new house. Okay, so we were insulated in 2019 with Mammoth, which is a good insulation product. As we look around, balance of our roof. So firstly, no signs of any borer whatsoever. It is native timber. It's probably boric treated, but we can't absolutely guarantee that. So there's probably very little benefit from running out and using borer treatment on this house. But generally speaking, this is as tidy as they come. I don't